This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
You're listening to the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast. And now, here's your host, Lisa Rangel.
Hello and welcome. Welcome to the 17th episode of the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast. I'm Lisa Rangel, host of the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast and the founder of Chameleon Resumes. We are an executive resume writing and job search consultancy firm that helps executives and high potential leaders land their next position faster. And today's podcast show topic will address how to make job boards work for you and how to avoid what I call job board hell. In my 13 years of recruiting and 5 years moderating LinkedIn's premium career group, where we have over 750,000 members, I'm in awe of the common misconceptions job seekers have about how effective job boards truly are and how much time you should really spend in a job search on job boards. Many job seekers make the mistake of spending most of their job search time on a job board, submitting their resume to job postings and never hearing back, or if they hear back, it's the wrong position, and they get it stuck in what I call job search hell. And the reality is only about 20% of hires are actually made through job boards. And this number of hires can vary slightly depending on the study, whether the research is from JobBite or the Society of Human Resources Management or Career Crossroads, but it's generally in the same ballpark number. And the gist of the studies are the same. Don't spend the majority of your time, your job search time, on job boards. However, I am here to teach you today how to make the best of that time you are spending on job boards and how to be effective. So the goal is not to ignore job boards, but spend about 20% of your time on job boards and spend your time wisely doing the right activities. So we're going to cover today how to make job boards work for you so you can free up time to spend networking, which is roughly how 70% of hires are made. So I'm going to clear this up for you today. I'm going to show you how to use job boards most effectively. In past episodes, we talked about the only way to truly protect yourself from job loss is to pretend you're fired today and make a list of activities that you would do to start finding your next job. But do them while you're employed. Do them while you don't need a job. Doing these activities proactively is the key element in the Pretend You're Fired Today action list. Keep your network primed and active so you stay in the forefront of your network's mind and create demand for yourself consistently. And the key is to be in demand before you need it. So build that demand before you need it. That's what we're here to do. So this way, if your job situation changes unexpectedly, you already have pent-up demand for what you do. As we said in episode 1, the first thing on that Pretend You're Fired Today action list is dusting off that resume and getting it up to speed. We covered in the first 8 episodes what to look at and how to format your resume according to today's trends to have maximum impact of that document. And then we spent the following 4 episodes focusing on the other equally important document for you to maintain, which is your LinkedIn profile. And the last few episodes, we covered the 5 most common career mistakes that I see smart people make every day. How to work with recruiters effectively. We've covered how to set up informational interviews. We've just recently covered how to stay in demand with your competitors. And today we're going to show you how to make job boards work for you. So here goes. First, in the job board function, you want to take the opportunity to create your profile within that job board website. So if that opportunity exists within that function, in that job board website, use it. Having your profile set up within that particular job board. And again, I would set this, if you're currently working, you want to set this to confidential whenever possible, if you're currently working. But to set up your profile and have recruiters search for and find you and then reach out to you for interviews is one way of being an effective passive candidate. So don't be the one who always has to spend the time finding opportunities. Put yourself out there in a confidential manner by completing that profile within the job board website, and this way hiring managers can find you when they do searches looking for people who do what you do. Along that same note, secondly, you want to set up job alerts. Don't spend hours droning over the job listings in the job board looking for the right job to apply to. There's just no bigger time suck than searching aimlessly and endlessly on job boards for that job that might just be right for you to apply to. Instead, establish pre-programmed alerts based on the keywords of the jobs you're looking for, company names that you want to target, and have those right jobs that meet those search criteria that you're interested in. Have those emailed to you directly when they're posted. This will drastically reduce, setting up these alerts will drastically reduce the time you spend combing through job postings daily or weekly that you would spend combing through these postings. You can use to be more productive in your networking and making professional connections. But by defining these alerts using specific search parameters in their job alert functions within each job board, you will receive email alerts when that job fits what you're looking for and when it's posted on that respective job board. Being notified immediately will also help you respond pretty quickly as well. So third, introduce yourself directly to potential hiring managers. How do you do that? So use information found in the job posting to find a potential line manager. So not necessarily an HR person. Of course, if you're in HR, that's who you're going to want to contact. But if you're in finance or marketing or in another area of IT, say, do a search on keywords of the department or other identifying factors within that job posting. And then via LinkedIn and Google and other internet research tactics, find someone who might oversee that particular department. And additionally, using your internet research skills, find an email address or a phone number and contact that non-HR hiring manager directly. Use your sleuthing skills and reach out to people directly based on that opening of that job posting being present. Another way to use the job posting is when you see the opening, try to then find someone within the company that you can either connect with or someone who can introduce you to somebody within the company. Network with a connection to be introduced to somebody within the company to refer you then into that target organization. If you don't have direct contact with a hiring manager or know someone who works there, again, aim to become an employee referral of the firm and use LinkedIn to see who you know that may work at that company or who may know someone who works at that company. So again, go through your second, third, fourth degree connections to look for an introduction to become an employee referral. Next, when you're going to apply for an opening, the key is to use a branded keyword-rich resume. Use the tools the best way you can within that function. Make that 20% of the time work for you. When you're going to apply for the job via the job posting, use a well-written, keyword-rich document that has the phrases, the keywords that are pertinent to the job and the industry for which you're applying. This increases your chances of that resume that you're submitting being found by that corporate or search firm recruiter who have posted the ad, looking for people like you. And lastly, another way to make a job board work for you is to employ the what I call where there's smoke, there's fire approach. Okay? So with this concept, if you see indirect postings, indirect hiring requests in the form of a job posting at a company, ask yourself how it may affect hiring in your area of expertise. So here's an example. If you're an accountant, you may see a company hiring a small army of sales professionals based on the job postings that you see for sales individuals. So you may make the deduction that if a company is expanding their sales team, they may be needing to expand their accounting team soon to account for additional commissions, client revenue, related expenses, and sales analysis as it pertains to all of this new business coming in. So companies will appreciate this thought process from you as a candidate, and you also may be getting a jump on the openings as they're unpublished at this point. So you might discover some openings that haven't been published yet, and because you're using deductive reasoning, that will impress individuals, and you'll be ahead of the competition before the job even gets posted for your particular area by using deductive reasoning of other areas being recruited for in that particular company. Applying these points will enable you to make the most of job boards. Were there any new tactics mentioned today that were unfamiliar to you? If so, then I'm going to suggest that you take our job landing quiz at joblandingquiz.com. This quiz will help you see what other information may be new to you and what you currently don't know. Learn additional job landing knowledge gaps that you may have. If some of this was new to you today, I could tell you that some of the other topics we address in the quiz will be new to you as well. So you're going to want to make sure you identify those now before you need them And once you receive the score on the quiz, you will be given access to free training that will give you solutions to any of the other knowledge gaps you have. And this way, again, you know them before you need them. I'm so proud of you for taking these steps to making yourself marketable, making yourself in demand when you don't need it yet. Most people wait for that unexpected job change to happen, and then they scramble to try to learn all this information to look for a job. So kudos to you for learning it and doing it before you need it. Like, bravo, serious bravo, and pat on the back for yourself. And if you're currently not working, I don't want you to worry. You now know what to do. The key is to start now, correct those mistakes today, fill in those knowledge gaps today. The key is that you now know what to do and you can do it. So let's take action. Let's take action on today's episode. Take our job landing quiz. Go to joblandingquiz.com and see what other job search information you currently don't know. And that by not knowing it, it would hinder your ability to find a job fast if you needed to find a job fast unexpectedly. And then once you receive your score on the quiz, you will get access to free training that will help you fill in those knowledge gaps and apply what you're learning today as well. So remember, the next few episodes of the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast, we're going to continue to go through a list of tactics and activities that you need to do now as if you were let go today to ensure that you're always ready for whatever the world brings your way. The first item on the Pretend You're Fired Today list was getting your resume ready, which we cover in episodes 1 through 8. The second item on the list was updating your profile, which we cover in episodes 9 through 12. And in episodes 13, 14, 15, and 16, we covered the 5 most common career mistakes that I see smart people make all the time. We covered how to work with recruiters effectively. We covered how to generate informational interviews. And we also covered how to stay in demand with your competitors. And today we showed you how to make the most of job boards so you can stay out of that job board hell vortex where you don't get answers when you're submitting your resume. So in the next episode, we're going to show you 3 easy ways to connect with your network when you don't need them yet. I want you to have an understanding of how to connect with your network well before you need to lean on them. That's usually people's biggest point of uncomfortability. They're like, oh, I don't want to call because they're going to know I need something. Well, let me show you how to do it in an easy way before you need something from them. My friend saved me with her Pretend You're Fired Today at priceless advice. And I am paying it forward with you here today. And I ask you to pay this sentiment forward, share this podcast with your network, with as many executives and rising professionals that you know who you feel would benefit from this build it before you need it advice. To educate yourself on the aspects of the Pretend You're Fired Today activity list, go take our quiz at joblandingquiz.com. In addition to the activities to stay competitive before you need it and how to use job boards, you're going to see what else you may not know and how to do and what other job search knowledge gaps you have with that free training that we have that's coupled with the quiz. So in our next episode, we're going to cover 3 ways to connect with your network easily before you need to ask them for help. And this will help you when you actually need to ask your network for help. It'll assure you that this won't be the first time you're calling them when you need something by doing the steps that we're going to cover next week. So you're not going to want to miss this next episode. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we will pick up again in the next episode. Have a great week.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.